guys, and welcome back to Opal&Mint. I'm Ashley, and welcome back to our Flower Everyday series. Today is the last day of this series. It's gonna feel weird not painting a flower every single day with y'all, and if you've been enjoying this and you're going to miss it, don't worry. We do a watercolor blooms series on the channel where I paint them once a week. It doesn't happen every week, but it does as often as I can. So if you haven't watched our watercolor bloom series, there are lots of flowers on there already, but I will probably be taking about a week break after this video, and then we will hop back into our normal content. So swatching videos, art challenges, watercolor blooms, all these things. So today is day 31, and this is what we're painting today. Since this has so much going on, we are going to actually sketch. This video is going to be a little bit longer than the rest of them have been. I want to try to keep it loose, but I do want to have a little bit of plan going into this one because there's a lot. This is a photograph that I took. I did some product photography for a while as well, and this was my favorite foundation. So I made this arrangement and took this picture, and it's one of my favorites. So I love the composition of it. I like the flowers going kind of around. So we're going to see if we can do this in kind of a loose manner and recreate this, but we'll see. We have lots of different flowers going on here, and I want to keep it fairly loose. So step one, sketch the bottle. This is a interestingly shaped bottle, and I don't want you to worry about getting it exactly right. Again, these are our kind of guide and not, we don't have to duplicate it exactly. Okay, so the bottom of the bottle is flat for a little bit. So, by the way, I'm using my Tombow monograph pencil. And we're gonna curve up and this way. And then this side is a nice curve to it. There we go. Okay. And we have our top. All right, there's our bottle. Again, not worrying too much about getting it perfect, but there's that. It's our general shape of the bottle there. And I do want to actually sketch in the thick glass part at the bottom because we are going to be painting that. We're going to be looking at colors and reflections in this. This one's going to be fun. I feel like that needs to be thicker at the bottom there. There we go. Okay. All right, so there's our bottle. For the flowers, do I want to sketch them or kind of go loose with them? I might not sketch the flowers. I don't know. Here's the center of one and kind of the edging of that one. I'm just gonna kind of loosely, I'm gonna put this one here. And we have another one kind of here. We've got this thing coming up here. Okay. And then this flower here. Got a couple of leaves here. Okay. That's just my general guideline here. I don't know if you can even see any of that, but I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and just roll it on the surface to lighten our sketch. Okay, so I'm going to start with a bottle, and then we'll add the flowers around it. And since I am trying to make this one a little bit better, I want to use my Daniel Smith paints, and I'm going to use my favorite brush. So okay, we're going to start with the bottle, this part. It's obviously my skin tone, very, very pale. We could use buff titanium almost. Let me see, like we could just use a lighter version of buff titanium, honestly. Let me just go ahead and scribble this in, see what it looks like. Evidently my skin tone is a lightened version of buff titanium. That's really kind of funny. Okay, so when we're working with reflective surfaces like this, we really need to pay attention to where the highlights are and preserve those. Now, I did just kind of scribble all over this with paint, so I should have paid more attention. But like, there's a couple of white spots I'll leave there. There's a really good white like here, so I want to try to lift that. I'm actually going to take my microfiber cloth and yeah, kind of tap and lift there. And I'm going to add a little bit more depth in a minute, but I want to try to preserve some of those highlights. Get as pure white paper as possible. And while that's still wet, I'm going to take a little bit more of the buff, and this side has some shadow. So I want to deepen this side a little bit. Kind of let it fade out. And maybe on this side too. We're not going to go super realistic with this. I do want to keep it a little bit loose. There we go. And if you wanted, the lettering is white on here, so if you wanted to write it in like a white fine liner or white gel pen or something, I think I don't want to put the writing on it. Okay. Going around where those highlights are, like so. Just looking at the photo and putting in darker paint where you see shadows, kind of going around highlights. Okay, that's our start. We're going to start there. Okay, this one to me is tricky because it's kind of a mirrored surface. And on this one, we're almost looking at the shadows instead of the highlights. But what color is that? I mean, it's silver. But in the photo and in the painting, what color? And then we've got a little bit of a pink reflection from the flower as well. It almost looks like it has a slight green tint because it's reflecting off of something else. So I want to take, this might be dumb, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to take a little bit of Serpentine Genuine and mix it in with my buff titanium. Very, very, very watered down. And I want to see what happens if I do this. It goes almost there. This is inside the circle. I'm leaving the other part so I can do the darker parts. I feel like it needs to be cooler. So I am putting a touch of blue on my brush. Just adjusting the color of that ever so slightly. Okay. And again, this will come kind of to life once we put in shadows and things. So I'm gonna start there. Do you want to touch a little bit more blue on the bottom part of this? Just a little bit, softening it out. Okay, all right, let's start there. I want to start painting some flowers too, but let me finish the bottom of this, and it's kind of a dark green gray. So I'm just going to take, oh, that's Hooker's green. That's really bright. Okay. I'm taking Hooker's green and Hematite Genuine. Yeah, this will be a good mix. I'm mixing that up. Okay. And I'm going to put in the glass now at the bottom. I should have waited till the bottle was dry. I thought it was. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush off, tapping the excess So I really wanted that to be a sharp line. It's okay. Everything can be fixed. Okay. Starting out light. One of the main lessons that I've learned in watercolor is to start out light. Build your pigment in layers and it will look so much better. So starting out light. I'm going to try to lift this green that I got into the bottle. There we go. Okay, that's the start. Man, this one's going to take a while. Ooh. Okay, I want to start with this flower here. And let's take some quinacridone rose. I need a little bit for a center as well. So let's take, I'm actually going to take my Serpentine Genuine. And I'm going to tap in a little green there. Green and then yellow around it. Wow. I'm okay. Everything is awesome. Taking my Cad medium yellow and just kind of tapping around the green. And now we're going to start with some pink. I am going to start with very, very watered down pink. Oh, it needs to be even lighter than that. There we go. And we're just going to put in some of these light outer petals first. On the outside edge. And don't worry about making them too exact. Just kind of put in a pointed petal shape inward. Go. Right. All right, I'm going to let that layer dry before I come in with the other layers that are kind of inside. And let's bounce to another flower real quick. I feel like we should do this white one next. So this is, it looks like a carnation, and it looks like it's going to be difficult to paint, but let's see. We're going to take this kind of creamy color that's here. You could also use buff titanium, but I'm just taking this that's on the palette and kind of yellowy brown color, and I'm watering it down like crazy. Okay, so very, very, very watered down, and even more water. I'm just gonna put in some squiggles, and I mostly want to put in just a little color to start with, and then we'll add in some shadows. So I'm really just kind of squiggling on the paper with this color. And I'm gonna take a touch of the buff titanium to add in some shadows kind of in the middle. Okay. Lifting a little bit in spots. Okay, that's the start of that flower. That's not how it's going to end, okay? Just the start of the flower. And I guess we should bounce over here now. So let's take that Serpentine Genuine again. Some green. Tap it in. Tap, tap, tap. And then we're going to take the yellow and we're going to tap that in as well. So it's kind of got a mixture of green and yellow all in that center. And then we have another white flower. I didn't think this one through, did I? Okay, this one I want to have a cooler temperature, so I kind of want to do a pale, pale blue, wash of blue. So I'm gonna take cerulean. Let's go wild. I'm gonna take cerulean, and I want to water it down. And let's see what this looks like. Oh, this might look crazy. Okay, just putting in petal shapes with this pale blue. And it's your painting. Do whatever you want. You can change the color of the flowers. If it ends up looking like a blue flower, then it's a blue flower. Okay. I kind of actually like the way the blue looks. Okay. And again, as people have said in the comments, there is always an ugly stage to your painting. When you have that one layer of light paint on it, you're going, what on earth is happening? But just keep painting. It'll come together. Okay. So we're going to bounce back to this pink one. I feel like this pink needs a little bit of purple in it. So I'm going to take a little bit of Rose of Ultramarine. And we're going to do another layer of petals. Keeping it loose. Okay, then we're going to get even deeper. And just going to have little curves kind of coming in the center, going around this. Okay. That is a loose interpretation of that flower. I am going to take my small brush, getting a watery version of this, and these outside petals are so light. I want to add in some lines kind of going around them, shaping them up. You don't have to on every single one either, just kind of put some shapes around to show that we've got some petals. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one there. I like that. That's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna bounce back to this top for a second because I want to put in a little bit of the pink reflection in here. So just scribbling some pink there. I'm gonna let that dry so we can put in the shadows. All right, we need this one. And that one, what color should we do? I think I'm gonna mix Serpentine Genuine with whatever yellow this is. I don't remember. Nickel Azo. This is Nickel Azo yellow. There we go. Getting a little bit more of a chartreusey kind of green. All right, and this one looks like cabbage. I don't know what the flower actually, oops. Dripping. No, it's okay. So this one, I'm just gonna put in some squiggly lines going around the center. Getting a little bit wider as we go around. Like so. After that dries, I will put in some shadows in between those. So there's that. Okie day. This one needs some shape now. I am going to take buff titanium and I am going to do some squiggly lines kind of at the top of those petals to show that we've got carnation kind of ruffly petals through here. Okay. Just little kind of like lines, you know, when you're pretending to write. That makes no sense. You know, like where you just like scribble, just little scribbles. just to show the layers and ruffles of those petals. Okay, like so. I like that. One more here. Okay, there's that one. We are getting there, guys. I feel like this needs some more depth now. So I'm gonna go back into the yellow and tap in a little bit more color. And into the green. Like so. Okay. All right, we are getting there. I feel like I should put in those green leaves. What do y'all think? Whew, 23 minutes into filming. Yikes. All right, I'm gonna take my undersea green. It's one of my favorite greens from Daniel Smith. It had a little bit of red on top of it, but oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, kind of go around these petals. And there's a leaf. Taking a little bit more. I just love this paint so much. It's got a glare on it. There you go. Can you see? Oh, it's so pretty. Okay. And then we need this leaf around the bottle top. Around our petals. See if I get a smooth line there. There you go. I'm just talking to myself now. No one needs to know that. All right. Okay, those are done. All right, this side is looking very bare. I need this thing and one little flower there. Taking my chartreuse color, I'm actually gonna add a touch of undersea in it. And I wanna put in some shadows in this flower here. I don't like that. I don't like it. Okay, I need to let this dry. Okay, I think that one needs to not be touched for a bit. Okay. All right, this one next. Let's do it. All right, taking my serpentine and I want to add in a little bit of, let's add in cerulean. Serpentine green and cerulean blue. Okay. For this one, we're going to start with a plop at the top and go down like so. It's gonna get thicker as it goes down. And I want it to curve like that. Just put little shapes coming off of the stem now. And then it will turn into kind of yellow flowers at the bottom. So I'm gonna put in some yellow and we'll touch some green to the bottom of that because those are kind of buds still. Like so. There we go. Then just kind of fading it out. Okay. A little bit more of that. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right, so there is that one. Now we need a flower here, and our flowers are kind of complete. Do I want to go ahead and work on the bottle some more? Let's work on this bottom part. I'm actually gonna take, which one are you? I think this is Sodalite Genuine. So just kind of a Payne's Gray type of color. Coming on this bottom, like so. So there's a darker bit of glass here. And then I need there. Then I need a little bit of green in my Sodalite, because this is reflecting some green underneath that part, like so. Okay, there's the bottom of the glass. All right, now do I deepen up some of this? I'm gonna take my titanium and I'm mixing it just with what I had there, the Sodalite. And I'm going to go around the edge of this because you do kind of see a glass edge. I want to stick my head closer to this and the camera's in the way. Because I need a steady hand here. Forgive me, I'm going in. Okay, I am rinsing my brush off completely, drying it off, and I want to fade that line out just a little bit. I don't want it too harsh. Okay, okay, we got a bottle. That's looking good. Okay. All right, taking my buff titanium now. And I'm gonna look, so there's a highlight here. So I want to put some around it here and here. And then rinsed off my brush, rinsing it again. So I want to fade that out like so. A little bit more buff on this side. Okay. All right, man, I could go forever on getting the details on this, but I don't want it to be super, super long and detailed. So I'm just carving out where the highlight is, and then around that I'm fading that line out. Well, that was supposed to be a highlight, you goofball. Oh well. Just kind of smoothing that out. It's supposed to be there, but okay. All right, I don't want to spend any more time on the bottle. I think that I could spend a very long time on this bottle getting it just right, but that's just a kind of beginning basic of reflections and whatnot. Okay, get a mixture of buff titanium and just some mess that's on the palette. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay. A little bit too dark there. Okay, there's my bottle. I do need to finish the top though. Okay, so we have a darker spot here that's like harsh and then it fades out over the edge. So we're gonna get, again, just some color that I've got going on here. Kind of a green gray. Tapping off excess water because I don't want this to be too much. And I'm going to do a nice sharp line around the top of this. It's not very dark, is it? Here we go. All right, here we go. Nice sharp line. Fading out that way. All right, rinsing my brush off, and we're going to fade this out on this side and leaving it harsh on the other side. There we go. Nice fade there. All right, taking a darker color here, and let's get this bottom one. And fading that out this way. All right, I'm mixing some buff titanium in with what's on the palette, and we're gonna get a little bit, got a foundation reflection on this side, and I want to leave a nice white highlight there. Bringing this around. There's a touch of pink on this side. And we have a touch of green. So I'm taking my undersea green very lightly on the edge here. Okay. And this will just continue to build layers and shadows and all of those things to make this look reflective. But I don't want to spend too much time on this one, on this bottle right here. So let's see if we can just show the edge here of this. And I want a nice deep sharp line where those shadows are. So I'm getting a deep, deep black, taking my paint out and deepening up this here. Putting in a couple little lines. There. Okay. And I feel like that's where I want to leave this one, the bottle, because I could spend so much time perfecting. I really like this fade. The edge, I feel like I could spend so much time trying to get it perfect and getting all the reflections. And like, see over here, I think I need some of that yellow and green. And I could keep going and keep going. So I don't want this one to be forever and a day long. So I'm going to stop on the bottle and we're going to finish up the flowers because we are already 38 minutes into filming. So this one has a pink and white kind of flower. I'm not really sure how I want to do this one. Let's start with some yellow. So we've got some, too much on the brush. Some yellow kind of coming out the center, like so. And we have some light pink and white petals. So put one here and one here. Keeping this super light. And one coming out here. Okay, and like we learned on the lily that we did this month, the dots on the flower petals really help. So I'm gonna get some pink and put some dots. Oh, that wasn't dry, so that's okay. We're keeping it loose, right? Like so. I wish I had erased my pencil marks a little bit more because I can see where the flower edge marks are, and you can't erase it through the watercolor. So there's that. Okay, I feel like this isn't connected very well, so let me take some of my green and yellow kind of color and finish this off. Just putting in some blobs. Green. There we go. Okay, so I think that's it for this one. I really could continue going and going on this, but I don't want to get too perfectionist with this. So as I continue painting, you know me by now, I continue painting. Ashley, just stop. Okay, so I'm going to stop now. But there is day 31. I hope that you enjoyed this. Hopefully this helped and taught you something. I had fun with this one. I could definitely go like super crazy perfectionist on this and continue. Like I might actually off camera. I don't know. Because I feel like this has potential to look really good. Like the more layers that I add, you know? So anyway, I'm going to stop now for the sake of the video though. But thank you so much for watching this entire month and the support that y'all have shown us and all of the sweet comments. I am so eternally grateful, and we are at the moment almost at 14K. So I just cannot believe, let's see what we're at right now. We are at 13,971. So I anticipate we will hit 14K this month, and I am just internally grateful for all of you that are here. But if you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed this series, please give this a thumbs up. It helps us out so much, you have no idea. And if you want to stick around after the series is done and you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We have so much fun on this channel. We have all kinds of crazy videos, not just painting flowers. But I was going to say I'll see you tomorrow, but I won't. I'll see you in about a week. All right, bye guys. All right, that's it for today. Teached you? Wow.